This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Stay home if you have mild flu-like symptoms, Health Ministry advises. The Health Ministry is reminding people that if they develop mild flu-like symptoms, they should remain at home, monitor themselves, and observe infection prevention and control measures. In a public service announcement on Wednesday afternoon, it said if symptoms worsen or persist beyond 3 days, then medical advice should be sought from a private doctor, a health center, or the parish health department. Persons can also do a COVID-19 test, which can be done privately or in the public health system by referral. The Health Ministry is urging persons with severe symptoms to seek immediate medical attention. Some vaccination workers are not paid since October. The Ministry of Health says some persons working at vaccination sites have not been paid since October. Dunson Bryan, Permanent Secretary in the Health Ministry, said the payments are being made through regional health authorities, but in some instances, there have been issues with the receiving banks for payment. According to the Permanent Secretary, some 250 individuals across the island, across the parishes, and across the regions are affected by the delay. He said all outstanding sums are expected to be paid by the end of January. Mr. Bryan was speaking during Wednesday's sitting of the Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee.
In some instances, there have been issues with the receiving banks for payments. The records that we have received indicate that in some cases, some persons have not been paid from as far back as October for the vaccination program. But that number at this point in time is some 250 individuals across the island, across parishes and across regions.
Government details remit of new Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. The government of Jamaica has provided details on the portfolio responsibilities of the newly created Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. According to information released on Wednesday, the ministry's subject areas are constitutional reform, legal education, legal reform, and the protection of human rights. The new ministry, which is led by former Attorney General Marlene Malahoo Fort, will oversee the Law Revision Secretariat, the Legal Reform Department, and the Office of the Parliamentary Council. Wayne Robinson has been appointed a permanent secretary acting in the ministry. The Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs was announced on Monday as part of Prime Minister Andrew Holness's cabinet shuffle. Mandeville's COVID wards exceed capacity. Chief Executive Officer at the Mandeville Regional Hospital, Alwyn Miller, says the experience of 3 waves of the novel coronavirus pandemic has put the facility in a better position to cope with the ongoing 4th wave. At this point in time, we are managing fairly well, he told the news on Wednesday. Miller said this was the case although the facility's 2 COVID-19 wards with 18 beds are now well in excess of capacity, with 35 positive and 10 suspected cases. The situation had become more challenging because 35 members of staff are now in quarantine after contracting the virus or are showing symptoms, Miller said. However, he told the news that the situation has not so far reached crisis proportions because of contingency measures, including proactive preparation to retrofitted additional spaces to accommodate COVID-19 patients. I wouldn't say it is severe at this point in time. If the numbers continue to grow, both with patients and staff, then there would be a concern, he said. I am hoping that the numbers in terms of staff in quarantine will not grow much more, and we will be able to have almost the full complement here at any point in time to help us to deliver care, he added. He said that in comparison to a few months ago during the 3rd wave, the number of COVID-19 patients at the Mandeville Regional is relatively low. We have the experience of the last 3 waves, which puts us in a better position in terms of treating such patients. In the 3rd wave, we had a high of almost 150 such patients in the hospital, so thankfully we are not at that level now, he said. Miller said that once the COVID-19 bed capacity of 18 beds was exceeded, the hospital was forced to find ways and means to accommodate the additional demand. It was recognized by the hospital's management that in some cases, some services would have to be displaced somewhat. At this point in time, we are at that stage, he said. He explained that he and fellow managers are closely monitoring the need for any additional space for COVID-19 patients and would make any required adjustments as needed. The area we're looking at accommodating any additional COVID patients will be the male and the female medical wards. It means that for our non-COVID patients, we will have to shift to another space, and that will potentially be the outpatient department, he said. The functions of the outpatient department were relocated to the Mandeville Seventh-day Adventist Church last September, which is about 100 meters northeast of the hospital across Caledonia Road. Miller thanked the SDA Church for agreeing to extend the use of its grounds. We did make that request from December in preparation for the fourth wave because we felt that was coming. We had dialogue with the church and we are thankful that they have agreed to extend our lease agreement to utilize the church for the outpatient department, he said. It is not one where they are charging us any rental or lease actually. The only thing that we are paying them for is light, he added. He is encouraging people who, he said, have become fatigued over COVID-19 not to underestimate the impact of the Omicron variant. There is still no room for patients to be complacent and not follow medical advice as it relates to the protocols and the vaccination, he said. JMMB ATM set on fire. The JMMB Group Jamaica has announced that its Harbor Street downtown Kingston ATM is out of service. The announcement came after a surveillance video went viral showing a woman setting fire to the machine. In the video, the woman was seen pouring what appeared to be a flammable liquid on the machine, then setting the ATM on fire. JMMB has called the woman's action a random act of vandalism. We apologize for any inconvenience and invite you to use the nearest JMMB Bank ATM in New Kingston, the bank said in a statement. Cops in Daggering video face disciplinary action. A disciplinary hearing has begun against a policeman who was present in a video that showed his colleague daggering a woman on a police car. Head of the Kingston Western Police Division, Superintendent Michael Phipps, told the news that the cop was brought before the orderly room on Monday and is to be tried. He said the other policeman who was dancing with the woman has taken sick leave since the incident and has not reported back to work as yet. When he returns, he will go before the orderly room, Superintendent Phipps said. The cops were pointed out after the video went viral on social media, garnering mixed reactions. The video was reportedly shot by a resident from the division. It was recorded when the cops visited what seemed to be a small gathering where music was playing. The footage shows the two policemen alighting from the service vehicle. A woman then proceeded to stand in front of the lawman on the left side of the car and began dancing on him. As she raised the one leg and placed it on his shoulder, the officer is videoed engaging her in a dance. At one point, the video shows the policeman leaning her up against the service vehicle as he continued the daggering, much to the delight of curious onlookers who laughed and cheered him on. Daggering is a form of Jamaican dance which involves a male gyrating his crotch area onto his female dance partner. Finance Ministry scrutinized for its oversight of spending at government entities. The Ministry of Finance has come under scrutiny for its oversight of spending at ministries, departments, and agencies following an Auditor General report which highlighted 7 years of outstanding appropriation accounts from the Ministry of Education. Auditor General Pamela Monroe-Ellis warned that the ministry runs the risk of falling victim to fraud, unauthorized withdrawals, and significant bank errors because of its failure to prepare its bank reconciliation statements in a timely manner. During Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, Financial Secretary Darlene Morrison was asked about the possible breaches of the Financial Administration and the Audit Act at the Education Ministry. However, she could offer no clarity.
I believe it needs to be elevated to the Solicitor General, to the Attorney General's Department. Let me get some more information on that and respond.
Displeased with the answer, PAAC Chairman Mikhail Phillips said he was uncomfortable with the Financial Secretary saying she has to do research on the matter, given that the issues span 7 years.
Madam FS, I am sure that this will have come across your desk, because by the Auditor General's report, it is saying that the accounts for 7 years, for a 7-year period, even the bank reconciliation has not been done. But every year, that same ministry that she is reporting on gets an increase in its budgetary allocation. And we understand education is important, but yet still the breach continues. So at what point is it that the Minister of Finance, that you are the Financial Secretary, steps in to ensure that these MDAs or the ministry itself is compliant?
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.